Hello, Grand Park community. It's Courtney. Welcome to your Yoga Ala retreat. I hope you're doing okay and staying healthy and well. I have a sunburn, which is really fun. I went outside yesterday, which was very exciting, but apparently you need to wear sunscreen, which I had forgotten. So I hope you don't mind looking at me today with my pink nose and my pink forehead. So today I would like to invite us to practice having what I call, or what yogis call, a beginner's mind. So a lot of times in my life, I notice that I can bring the past with me or bring prior information with me, whether it's to relationships or my physical yoga practice. And it can be really helpful to let go of that stuff and to just be present with what's happening in the moment. It can be really helpful to do a practice like this if you've been practicing yoga for a while. I know I can get into ruts and routines where I just kind of am like, oh, I can't do that pose, or oh, this pose is like this always in my body. So I invite you to do your best to let that go and to just be with your body and your breath as it is today. And I'll be here as a guide to remind us. So let's come to find a seat if you're not already seated in a comfortable way. You could sit down on a chair, you could sit down on the earth. Whatever you have chosen for yourself, really let something touch the earth. So if you're in a chair, let the soles of your feet touch earth. If you're seated on the ground, let your hips, maybe the backs of your legs touch down. And then let's go ahead and close our eyes, soften the jaw, let the shoulders melt down away from the ears. Soften that space between your brow. And just like you were meeting yourself for the first time, just come into the space of your body. See what's here, what's present in your physical form, what feels tired, what feels energized, maybe what feels tender or strong. And then just noticing your breath. Maybe starting to get curious about the breath. Maybe start playing with slowing down the breath, deepening the breath, coming into relationship with the breath. And then let's draw our hands into a gesture at the heart. Bow your chin into the wisdom of your heart. And just setting our intention to approach practice with a beginner's mind today. So just meeting each moment, seeing what's here, seeing what's true, trying our best not to bring what we know from the past to this practice. And we'll begin our physical practice in child's pose. So let's take the knees wide. Big toes come together to touch on the floor. Sink your hips back for your heels. If your hips don't touch the heels, you could put a blanket or a pillow underneath your seat. And then folding, melting the heart forward, letting the forehead rest on something. So if the forehead doesn't naturally touch the earth, maybe stacking fists, maybe resting a pillow underneath your forehead. And then just arriving into this pose like you've never done it before. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you've done it 300 times. But see if you can feel it in your body for the first time, for this time as it is today. Really feel whatever is touching earth, touch earth. Let yourself meet the earth. Let gravity do the work here. Come into relationship with your breath. Let it fill into your low back, your lungs. Maybe you notice the moving and rising and falling of your breath. From here, we're going to keep everything the same in the lower body. We'll reach over to the right, and you'll rest your left hand on your right palm, sinking your hips back for your left heel. So we're coming into a big left side body stretch. So whether you've done this pose before or not, exploring it for the first time today. So just noticing what's happening in your side body. Yoga is truly a practice of awareness, of noticing, of being in the moment. So if anything feels too extreme, soften. If you don't feel enough stretch, maybe reach your palm over to the right a little bit more. And then walk yourself back to center, beginner's mind, other side. So reaching up and over towards the left, maybe a foot, maybe a little more. Sinking your right hip down and then resting your right palm on top of your left hand. And just breathing and being in the right side body. So being with this side as it is, being with this breath as it is, listening, noticing. From here, we'll walk back to center. Let's find ourselves up to hands and knees. So wrist stack underneath shoulders, knees stack underneath hips. Listen to your knees. If your knees are tender today, you might double up the mat. If you have a mat, you could also put a blanket or a towel underneath your knees. And then we're going to tuck the toes today just to come into the space of our feet. Spread your fingers wide. Give yourself a good foundation. Lift up out of your shoulders. And then the next time you inhale, belly drops, heart rises through for cow. And then exhale, press into your knuckles, round in your upper back. Nose is reaching back for your belly. Head lets go. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises forward. Exhale, curl in your spine, round in your upper back. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises. Exhale, curl in your back. Nose comes towards belly button, head releases. One more time, beginner's mind. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises. Be in the experience of this shape. Exhale, round in your upper back. Let your head go. And then find your way back to a neutral spine. Keeping the toes tucked, deciding if this is enough foot stretch, you're welcome to stay here. You're also welcome to explore with that beginner's mind, walking your hands back towards your knees. Maybe sitting on your heels. Listen to what happens in the feet. So if there's shooting pain and it does not feel right, put weight back into your hands. If there's some discomfort, maybe get curious and soften into your feet. Soften into your jaw. Take a couple breaths. Releasing yourself forward, back to hands and knees. Walk your hands a little bit farther forward than your shoulders, and then send your hips up and back for your first downward facing dog. So heart reaching back for the thighs. You can have as much bend in the knees. Heels are reaching towards the floor. Doesn't matter if they ever get there. Armpits are hugging in, knuckles pressed down. Soften your jaw, maybe shake your head, yes and no, and maybe so, to release the neck. And then anything that would feel good in your body here. So beginner's mind, maybe just exploring, maybe bending one knee, flattening opposite foot. Maybe lifting your heels and taking them side to side. Just be in your body here, so you can do anything that feels good to you right now to draw you into relationship with the back body, getting information about tightness, tenderness, energy. And then from here, rolling forward to a plank. You can tap your knees down if this is too much on the wrists or the strength is just not here today. So knees can tap down. We're lifting up out of our shoulders. We're scooping the belly back to the spine. Head is in line with your neck. Jaw is soft. And then next, exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. We're just going to do that one more time or not. You're welcome to come and rest in child's. Inhale, rolling forward to a plank. Knees can come down. Breath is moving through. Heels are reaching back if your legs are up. And then as you exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Let's look forward to the hands. Right foot steps for the right hand. We'll stay up on the ball of the back foot. So right knee is stacked over the right ankle. Arms come to the sides like wings. Reach your heart forward. So find lots of length in your spine. And then pressing down into your feet, stack your shoulders over your hips, coming up for Crescent Lunge. If your legs are really shaky and this doesn't feel stable in your body, you can tap your left knee down. You could also take your right knee to the right a little bit. Find lift in your heart, soften in your elbows, energize your hands. Maybe turn up the corners of your mouth to lighten the pose. And then exhale, hands come down to the earth. Right foot steps back to a plank. And then we'll come into downward facing dog. So we have another side. We're approaching it like we've never done it before. Just curious, exploring, listening to our body. Stepping the left foot forward towards the left hand. Left knee stacks over the left ankle. We're up on the ball of the back foot. Really find your stability in your feet. Arms come to the sides like wings. Heart reaching away from the tailbone. Find length in your spine. And then pressing into your feet, stack your shoulders over your hips. You can bend your back knee any amount. You can set your right knee down. Maybe softening into the elbows, energizing the hands, maybe looking up slightly. Feel your feet supporting you. Maybe feel your right knee supporting you. Find your breath. Maybe turning up the corners of your mouth on this side or not. If that's annoying, you don't have to do it. And then exhale, hands come down, left foot steps back, plank to your downward facing dog. So we're gonna connect those movements into a little flow. At any point, if your breath gets out of control or you feel like you need to regroup, you can come back to down dog. You can also come into child's pose. Knees down, knees wide, big toes come together to touch. So looking towards your hands, let's step our right foot for the right hand. Press into your feet. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come down. Right foot steps back, plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps, press down, rise up. Exhale, hands come down, plank, downward facing dog. 2 more times. Inhale, right foot steps. Come on up into Crescent Lunge. Exhale, hands come down, plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps. Same inhale carries you up. Exhale, hands come down, plank. Downward facing dog. One more time each side. Inhale, right foot steps. Press down, rise up. Exhale, hands come down, plank. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps. Press down, rise up. Exhale, hands down, plank. And then either down dog or we take a child's pose. So find a pose where you can reconnect to your breath. Check in with yourself. Option to stay and rest, or we'll step our feet to our hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold your heart. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach your heart, flat back, head away from tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your heart forward, head away from tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Let's sink our hips, finding our way to our first chair pose. So let's do our best to act like we've never done this pose today. So not bringing all the drama, all the dialogue of what we usually think in this pose, or at least what I usually think in this pose. Like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. This is hard. Whatever it is, see if you can just approach it and see what's here. If it's not right for your body, don't do it. If there's pain, don't do it. If there's resistance, maybe see if you can just show up and breathe. Take 1 more breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Find your way to plank. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale, step the right foot forward, back foot spins flat. We're coming up to a warrior 1. So we'll pause here. Right knee is stacked over right ankle, right hip is reaching back, outer edge of your back foot is pressing down, and then rising the arms up. So I'm gonna go through those alignment cues 1 more time, and if you kind of just like get into it and forget about stuff, see if you can really listen to the cues. So the outer edge of the back foot is at a 45. We're pressing into the outer edge of your back foot, so that fires up the back leg. Sinking into the right thigh, right hip is reaching back. Right knee is stacked over your right ankle. Arms rise up. Steady your gaze, find your breath. Really great, you all. And then exhale, hands come down to touch the earth. Find your plank. Downward facing dog. Other side, left foot steps. Back foot spins flat to a 45. Press down into your feet, rise yourself up. Warrior 1 on the left. So all the same stuff. So arrive in your pose. Put on your beginner's line. Press into the outer edge of your back right foot. Sink deeply into your left hip reaching back. Left knee stacked over your, left ankle stacked underneath your left knee. And then steady your gaze. Find your breath in your very strong warrior 1. On your next exhale, hands come down to floor, step back, plank, downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna come and roll forward to a plank. So inhale, forward plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. You could also take rest here. 2 more times. Inhale, forward plank. Scoop your belly into your spine. Press down into your knuckles. Exhale, hips come up and back. Beginner's mind, rolling forward to a plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Arrive in your down dog, find your breath. Soften your heart back for your thighs. Press the weight into the knuckles, armpits hugging in. Head releases. From here, we're gonna start on the left foot. So looking between your hands, step your left foot in between, back foot spins flat. We'll open up to Warrior Two. So Warrior Two, heel of the front foot is in the arch of the back foot. The back foot is coming in at a 45. Arms extend out from the shoulders. Knee is tracking out from the hip towards the front. And then sending your arms out from your shoulders, settling your shoulders away from your ears. Steady your gaze over your left middle finger. And meet this pose with your breath. So can you feel your feet down there holding up the pose? Can you feel the strength of maybe your wobbling left thigh supporting the pose? Can you feel the energy of the breath supporting the pose? And then just getting curious here as we explore. So just feeling what this pose feels like in your body today, right now, with this beginner's mind. On your next inhale, lengthen your left leg straight. We'll come into triangle, reaching your fingers forward, your hips back. Tap your left hand down to your left shin. Reach your right arm tall to the sky. So heart reaching up for your extended hand. Bottom hand is really light on your shin. Shoulders are away from your ears. Soften your jaw. Find a little bit of bend in your left knee if you tend to hyperextend. And then we'll inhale back to Warrior Two. Right hand comes down to right thigh. Left arm reaches tall for the sky. Maybe look up to the palm of your hand. If that's too much on your neck, you can look forward at eye level. Beginner's mind, just feeling into this pose. So just noticing what's going on. Inhale back, Warrior Two. And then we'll extend the left leg. Let's switch to the other side. So you'll probably be facing the back of your space. Find a nice bend in your right knee. Arms extend out. Warrior Two on the right. So the knee is tracking for the middle toe on your right foot. You're in the arch, heel to arch alignment. Gazing over your right middle finger. Settle your shoulders down. Find your breath. And just noticing this side. So what's happening in the body? Feeling the feet supporting you. Feeling the maybe shaking thigh strong underneath you. Feeling the breath moving through you. Next, inhale, let's lengthen left leg. Reach your hips back, reach your right fingertips forward. Tap your right hand down on your right shin, or maybe the floor if you have that space. Left arm reaches tall for the sky. The belly's doing the work here to twist the heart up. So there's very little pressure. We're not pressing into the leg. We're using the strength of the belly to offer the heart up for the hand. If that doesn't feel good on the neck, you can look down towards your right shin. Find space, find breath, be curious. Explore. And then we'll inhale back, Warrior Two. Left hand goes down, right arm reaches tall for the sky. Maybe you look up towards your extended palm. Maybe you stay looking at eye level. So notice what's happening in your body today and learn how to honor your body by maybe not looking up, or maybe that feels really great today. So listening and being present in the moments, knowing and honoring our body in the moments. Inhale back, Warrior Two. Extend your right leg straight. We're gonna take the toes in, the heels are gonna go out. So we're in a big wide straddle. Find a little or big bend in your knees. And then we'll fold the heart forward, coming into a big wide leg forward fold. So maybe the hands come to the earth. You could always grab pillows or books and place them underneath the hands if the hands don't touch. So toes are in, heels are slightly out. press a little bit more weight into the outer edges of your feet, and then send your hips back. Melt your heart forward, let your head go. We're going to take a little pause here to regroup our breath, to feel ourselves touching earth. And just allow yourself this pose like you've never done it before, getting curious. So what is here for you? What is true for you? Soften something that doesn't need to work here. So maybe your jaw, maybe your shoulders, maybe something else. And then take your hands to your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press into your feet, rise yourself up, and then we'll heel toe the feet in. A little bit wider than hips distance, toes go out, heels go in, and then we'll make our way down to Yogi Squat. So this is maybe not a pose for you, maybe it is. We'll just approach it and see what's here. So Yogi Squat is a pretty deep hip opener. If your heels are not touching the earth, that's totally fine. You could find blankets, you could put them underneath your feet, you could put a pillow underneath your feet. If you have a mat, you could roll up the mat and rest it underneath your feet. Press your palms together, maybe some gentle pressure inside your knees, and then find lots of length in your spine. So head reaching away from your tailbone. If your knees have any pain in them, please just come to seat. Wherever you are, soften your eyes or close the eyes. And just feel into wherever you are in your body right now. So if there's pain, let's listen to that come out. Reconnect with breath. If there's discomfort, maybe get curious. Maybe explore it. Maybe breathe with it. I'm going to ask you to soften something here. Maybe it's something in your mind, a little dialogue that's coming up. Maybe it's a little judgment. Maybe it's something physical. Maybe it's your jaw. Open your eyes, take your hands behind you, and let's all meet in seated. So soles of feet come together, knees come wide. Beginner's mind, so listening to the inner thighs here. So if the inner thighs feel really tight already here, take your feet away from you slightly. So that will soften the experience in the inner thighs. If your inner thighs don't feel anything, maybe take your feet a little bit closer in. So really listening and meeting each moment of the practice with our awareness to find benefits in our practice wherever we are in the moment. So rising your heart up, you might stay seated up. You might start to offer your heart like it could fall beyond your toes. You might put a little bit of gentle pressure on your inner thighs with your elbows. Whatever you're doing, get curious. See if you can get present in your breath. And as we start to slow down the practice and come into some more stretches, some longer holds, can you stay engaged in this beginner's mind? Can you stay curious and present with your breath? And anytime you notice that you're not, the practice is noticing and coming back to our intention. So we're never going to get it right all the time, or we're probably not going to get it right very much. But the better we get at noticing when we've gone somewhere else and drawing ourselves back into the moment, back into what yoga means, which is union, to yoke, to come together, to be present in this moment together. If you're folded, next inhale, rise yourself up. We'll keep the right foot in, extend your left leg out from you. So we're coming into an upper and mid back opener, as well as a hamstring opener. And we're gonna approach it like we've never done it before. And we're just gonna see what's happening today. So hands come to frame your extended left leg, left shoulder's reaching back, so you feel a twist. There might be like something happening in your lower right back. You have the option to stay here. So if you already feel like there's resistance, stay here and breathe. If everything's feeling okay and you have a little more space, start to melt your heart forward for your left pinky toe. So we're not just folding, we're finding a little twist and a little fold or not. So if the back of the leg is really tight, you can bend the back of your knee. If your jaw is tensing up, you can soften your jaw. And then just seeing what's here today. So not bringing our normal dialogue of, oh, I have really tight hamstrings, or oh, I can't do this, or oh, I don't like this, or oh, even I love this. See if you can just let that stuff go and be here in the story that's happening right now in this moment. That is the practice, being in this moment. How's your breath? And next time you inhale, rise yourself up. And then we'll switch to the other side. So left foot comes in, right leg extends out. Beginner's mind, we're not even gonna bring the story of what happened on that side to this side, because this side might be different. This mobility might be different. The joints might be different. Hands come to frame your extended right leg. If there's more tightness on this side, you might think about bending your knee, maybe resting something underneath the back of your right thigh. So support yourself. So no need to force anything. Right shoulder's coming back. We feel maybe something happening in the mid, low back. And then deciding what's happening here. So this is totally fine to stay here. So we're already getting a stretch on the back of the leg. We're already finding an opening in the back. If you have more space, you're welcome to fold forward any amount. I'm not going to because this side is tighter for me. So either melting your heart forward for your left pinky toe or staying up or somewhere in between. Right shoulder's reaching back. Softening into your jaw. Just being curious about what's happening on this side. Being honest and honoring what's happening on this side. So maybe there's more space. Maybe there's less space. Maybe there needs to be a deepening of your breath. Take one more beautiful breath wherever you are. And if you are folded on your inhale, rise yourself up. We'll take both the legs to extend together, finding our L pose. So you can always come to sit up on something that will create more space for the backs of the legs. So sitting up on a pillow, a blanket, you could also bend your knees and place a pillow or a blanket underneath the back of your thighs. And then find lots of length in your spine. So rising your arms and then melting your heart any amount, listening to yourself, being with your body as it is right now. So bowing your chin into your chest. You could even stay upright if this is enough stretch for the backs of your legs. So we actually get a better stretch when we can breathe. So if you're forcing anything and holding breath, you're really not releasing anything. So find that kind of like Goldilocks porridge. I always call it like the just right porridge place. So you want to find that place where you notice tension and tightness, but you can breathe with it. And then the idea is that by meeting tension with our breath, we can soften, we can move through, maybe even just a little smidgen of it. And then softening something that doesn't need to work here. So maybe your jaw, maybe your shoulders, maybe your hands, maybe your mind. Take one more full cycle of breath. Big inhale through the nose. Big exhale through your nose. Inhale to rise yourself up. And then option just to come right on your back. If you'd like to come in for a little bit of core work, bend your knees, soles of the feet down on the earth, scoop your belly back to your spine, arms extend out from your shoulders. And then pulling that belly back into the spine, start to slow roll yourself down to the earth. And then when you get down to the earth, we're all going to do one bridge pose. So last active pose. Knees bend, soles of the feet are underneath the knees, fingertips graze the heels. We're going to work with the earth. We're approaching this like we've never done it before. So beginner's mind, feel your feet underneath your knees. Press down into the feet. Use the strength of your thighs and your bottom to rise up. And then maybe tuck your shoulders underneath you. Find an interlace of your hands. If that's too much on the shoulders, you can press down into the forearms. If you have a mat, you can grab the outsides of your mat, tuck your shoulders, and press down into your arms that way. Wherever you are, root down to rise up. So find space by working with the floor. So pressing down, using the strength of your muscles, your thighs, your bottom. Take one more full inhale through your nose. And then exhale, release your hips down to the earth. Take your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Knees fall in towards one another. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And just allow your body to settle down. Allow your breath to fill in. From here, we'll take our knees side to side like windshield wipers, just moving in the low back, releasing in the low back. And then hugging your knees into your chest. Take your hands on tops of your knees. Let's roll the knees in a circle 3 ways to the right. Roll your knees in a circle 3 times to the left. Come back to center. Arms can come wide out from the shoulders in a T. You could also take cactus arms, bending at the elbows, palms up by the face. Knees come up and over to the right. So just twisting out, releasing, not really worrying what it looks like, just letting yourself take up space, release your back, soften your jaw, let whatever is touching earth touch earth. Come into relationship with your breath. You might need to breathe a little bit deeper in a twist. Knees come up and over to the left whenever you're ready. Worrying less about what it looks like and just feeling into what it feels like. So letting yourself take up space, letting your back release, letting your jaw soften. Melting down, being held up by earth. Knees come back to center. We'll come in for one last pose. So happy baby, hip opener, back release, back stabilizer. So either grabbing the outsides of your feet and kicking the feet up to the sky if your low back can stay on the earth. If your low back pops up, then go ahead and grab either the backs of your thighs or the backs of your calves. But we really want the low back to be grounded on the earth here. And then anything you want to do here. So maybe just being still, feeling into your hips. Maybe it would feel good to rock side to side. Just being new to the practice, even if we've done this pose a lot, just seeing what's here today. Maybe noticing what it feels like in your body right now. And just listening and honoring that. So if it doesn't feel right to grab the feet, grab the backs of the thighs. Or if you always grab the backs of the thighs, maybe try grabbing and seeing if the feet are accessible. You can always come back to the other option. But see what is here for you today. And honor what is here for you today. If you're rocking, find a couple breaths in stillness. Feel your low back rooted to the earth. The next time you exhale, release into a comfortable position on your back. That might mean lying flat. That might mean soles of the feet resting down with the knees stacked over. And then finding a positioning of the hands. So maybe resting your hands on your body, maybe on your belly. Maybe hands come out to the side, palms up. Get space around your neck. So actually take your shoulders down away from your ears. Allow the back of your head to rest down. Allow your shoulders to rest, your back body. Whatever is touching in your lower body. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw. And we'll just come into 3 last breaths together. So I'm just going to say inhale, and we'll inhale. I'll say exhale, and we'll exhale. So let your exhale come out. Through your nose, inhale. Through your nose, exhale. Through your nose, inhale. Through your nose, exhale. Through your nose, inhale. Through your nose, exhale. And then just allowing your breath to come back into the body however it wants. We'll take a minute of rest here. So just being in the benefits of what you've done for yourself today. So just being present in your body in this state of rest. Starting to bring awareness back to your breath. Almost like it was the first breath you ever took. Getting curious, bringing in your awareness to your physical form. And then rolling over to your right side, making a little pillow for your head with your inner arm. Pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat and just resting your palms down on your thighs or in your lap. And I'm going to encourage us all today to see if we can meet moments like we've never been in them before. So just creating new opportunities, not bringing past stuff, just seeing what is here in the moment that we're in. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm really glad you were here today. We're here every Wednesday and Friday from 12:15 to 1. Have a beautiful rest of your day.